And thank you all for being on the call with us here this evening, and thank you, Stan, for joining us today. I want to introduce you folks to a great friend, a man of God, a man who is absolutely one of the greatest motivators that you'll ever hear, and that is Coach Blaine Williams. Coach is one of the 4 global founding directors of What's Up Global. And ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to bring him on the line to explain a little bit what we do with the company and tell you how we get paid and what the mission of the company is. So, Coach Blaine, if you'll take it away, sir.
I will. I just want to make sure you can hear me okay.
I got you loud and clear, sir.
And I'll just say to everybody, it's great to have you on the call here today. And I know that Bobby said good evening, but many of you are calling in from Australia, Asia, Europe, all around the continent, all around the world. So whether it's good morning to you, good evening to you, I want to just send out from What's Up Crowdfunding and What's Up Global our greatest wishes that this become a vision for you of changing the world, making it a better place. In addition to that, making your life a better place. If we go back to that first screen, I'd appreciate it real quick that you had up there. There we go. There you are. If you're looking at the screen, there's a picture of myself on the right. I've been using that high school graduation picture for about 30 years now, so when you meet me, don't be shocked. But I'm going to tell you a little story about these 4 founding directors in just a moment or two. But as we're running through this, I want to just let you all know we're not going to be real formal here. We're going to gather around the fireside and chat about our futures. Let's go to the top of this PowerPoint and give you a presentation that might open your eyes to what's going on. Let's go all the way to the top there. There we go. This is all about the Gathering the Eagles. It's a team that JP and his partner Bobby Hornbrook have put together to impact people of every background, walk of life, age group, or gender. And no matter what your background education is, we know there's something in common with everybody, and that is that they were born with a dream, a desire to do something bigger, better, and greater. The challenge is most people think if it's going to be, it's up to me. They want to do it by themselves. Typically, you see eagles by themselves up on the peak of a mountain or the top of a tree. But we are currently gathering thousands and thousands, in fact, hundreds of thousands of people that are eagle-quality people, leaders from across the planet that are deciding for, in many cases, the first time in their life, to put their egos aside and to work together, a gathering of eagles. And can you imagine, the Bible says 1 can send 1,000 to flee, 2 can send 10,000. What can a gathering of eagles like you and I do? Let's take a look at the first eagle. That's the visionary founder and creator of What's Up Global and What's Up Crowdfunding. His name is Ash Sahib. Ash is in fact, every time I look at his picture, it reminds me of Omar Sharif from the old movies, by the way. But Ash is a gentleman that was born in India. His family was ultra successful. He ended up moving and getting his education in the United Kingdom, and then he migrated to the United States to pursue what we call the American dream. That's be able to build as big and great as you want, be as successful as you want. That's the American dream. And he basically got involved in the world of marketing. During that time, he was 12 years with a company called Ameriplan. He became its first $1 million earner. He went on to start a couple of his own businesses. Ultimately, Ash and his family migrated to the nation of Dubai. A few years ago, he watched so many people struggle with direct selling. He wanted to put a business together that leveled the playing field, gave each and every person an extraordinary opportunity to excel. And in February of 2017, he gathered 2 very key confidants of his together to start a company that was going to be called What's Up Global. During that company, they were putting together a wonderful app, a technology product, with a $200 sign-in to be a part of the business process, and they put together what was called a free launch. That free launch was all over the world. It took off, and in a matter of 7 weeks, they had 100,000 people signed up, said, we want to be a part of this at $200. In March of 2017, Ash had the untimely passing of his only son. As you could just imagine the pain of that, Ash went into a time of mourning with his family, took himself out of the game, and what he did, by the way, is he ended up leaving it to Fred Bender and Ricky Howe, his 2 confidants, his 2 generals, to continue on, and they did. And in June, Ash came back to them and said, I'm ready to put something together. I'm going to put it together in the memory of my son. Well, that's a powerful motivator, folks. And Ash and Fred and Ricky Howe. Fred, by the way, is out of Atlanta area. Ricky Howe is out of the Carolinas. There they are, picture right in the middle there. Huge experience. They, by the way, they decided that they needed to put something together, not with the $200 price tag, but with a price tag that was internationally friendly. In some nations, $200 is a month or two's wages. And that's when Ash put together the crowdfunding platform. When they did that, they decided to use a structure called a 3x8 matrix, which means there's 3 people at the top of the company. Now, myself, Blaine Williams, and Mark Campese are business partners, known each other for over 20 years. We love each other. We believe in each other. And so we formed a partnership, and the 3 of us, Mark and I, Fred Bender, Ricky Howe, basically are at the head of these 3 teams within the company, the 3 at the company. I'm going to show you the structure in a moment, but before I do, I want to let you know that there is an entire leadership cast that is being drawn to the table from around the world, and it is being led by Ash Sahib and these others, but then we take a look at these other folks, Buck Steffens, Cindy Giannetti, Dale Bonet, Danny Story. I've got to tell you something. Danny, for example, is a career military guy that served our country dutifully. And I've got to tell you something. He has built huge teams, owned huge companies all over the world. Buck Steffens is a legend in the field of direct sales. He's a retired Marine, by the way. We love this guy, knowing him forever. Buck has put over 1 million people into the networking industry. He's made $30, $40, $50 million. He is a unique guy. You'll hear a lot about him. Cindy Giannetti is a leader out of Florida that has got the heart of gold. She's a champion without any question. Dale Bonet had an executive career with Procter & Gamble. Came through that into the financial service arena, came to work for us 5 years ago and has worked on staff. He's got an IT background, a marketing background. And then you take a look at that bottom row. And by the way, I'll tell you something. This is tiered with 2 rows, but there is no difference between the people on the top row and the bottom row. They are all leaders. Greg Baker, Ray Bauer, Linda Jones, Dalphin. We start going down and talk about these guys. We're putting these names up here with J.P. Smith and Bobby Hornbook and Rich, and then we leave people out like that have got huge and rich backgrounds in networking. There's thousands, by the way, at this time that have come to the table. What I'm trying to say to you, folks, is when the movement happens with the leaders, when the eagles are gathering, it's important to pay attention. Now, why are we all coming together? Well, I'll tell you, if you take us to the next screen, I'm going to tell you why. Because people out there are looking for a way to generate a revenue stream for their families, for their ambitions, for their hopes, and yes, also for their dreams. And when you take a look at this, you see that you have a graduated step-up matrix that starts with you, and then on your first level, there's going to be 3. And then if you took a look at an accounting sheet that went down, each level multiplies out by 3. So the second level would have 9. The third level would have 27, and so forth. And the matrix from the company will continue going and going and going to 20, 30, 50, 100, 300 levels. But what you will be paid on will be a finite amount of 8 levels. Why? Because you can only get paid so much. You can't give all the money away and then another 100%. Impossible. So you're paid on 8 levels. We're going to talk about those 8 levels and how they function now. 3x8. It's forced and graduated. What does that mean? Well, that means that nobody can favor anybody else. The matrix fills perfectly, top to bottom, each row, left to right. Each empty hole is filled by somebody. Now, I mentioned the free launch that the company put together. They gathered over 240,000 people that want to be a part of this company. Myself and my partner have databases of over 1 million. And the group that you're associated with at the Eagles Rising, I'm going to tell you right now, they collectively have probably over 2 to 3 million people in their databases. What's the point that I'm making? To get paid on this plan, all you need to do is put your 35 in and listen, bring 3, not 300, not 3,000, 3. Anybody can find 3 people that are hungry and ambitious that can get $35 together. And by the way, we don't want people coming in here that want to come in and put 35 and sit around and do nothing. Everybody needs to have a concerted commitment to bringing in 3. Help them do it, and they will do it. So when you take a look at it, you can take a look and see that you have 3 people that are paying into the system, and you're going to receive $25 per person coming in, and what will happen out of that is the company will get a platform fee. We will take 10% of every dollar that ever comes into the front door of this company and set it into a storehouse fund for giving to charitable causes that will be overseen by our field executive leadership team that many of you will be a part of. Full transparency and accountability, 10%, a tithe. And then the rest will be used to step you up to the next level and pay out to you. On that first level, you will net out $25. 3 people will pay in $35 each. 10 of it goes to the company. $75 goes in. Of that money, $10 will go to the admin fee. $7.50 will go into the giving fund. $25 will come out to you. Now remember, 50 of it will be paid in to take you to the next level. Why? So you can receive 9 donations of $50 apiece. $50 apiece. Out of those 9 donations, 10%, $5 each, will go to the storehouse fund. There'll be an admin fee. You will be stepped up to the third level, which is going to be $100. You'll receive the rest, which is nearly $300. That's your net amount, nearly $300, $292. And it goes on and on. People ask, well, where did that money come from? Now, I just lost my screen. There we go. As we take a look at that, let me explain to you where the money comes in. Is if you come in and you bring in 3 people, each one brings in $35, there's nearly $100 that comes in. If those 3 people bring in 3, that's 9 people that bring in $35, right? If those 3 people bring in, that's 27. So every row is bringing 3 people in. If you go down to the 4th row, 81 people are bringing 3 people in. That's 243 people who are bringing $35 apiece in, which does what? Which gives the people on the row of 4, 81 people, the ability to go to the second level. When they go to the second level, $50 from 81 people is paid out into the next step, which is a donation, which is what's fueling you. So there is no mystery, no alchemy on where the money's coming from. The money is coming from the combination of a crowdfunding platform. By the way, in 2012, if you want to know about the validity of this, President Obama passed into law through the Jobs Act, legislated into law, crowdfunding. That's why groups like GoFundMe and Kickstarter have done billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars funding everything from honeymoons to business startups to people that are in the hospital on a ventilator, any worthwhile cause, and that's what we're doing. We are using crowdfunding, but we're using it in an organized, graduated step-up matrix. What you do is you sow in 35, now you're in the platform, and we gather more people. And then on the matrix, I want to show you something, and then we'll move to the next screen. If you only bring in 3, those 3 may not end up on your first row. Why? Because you might have come in with JP, and before you brought anybody in, JP might have put enough people in to fill your first row. Not to worry. If you have 3 people, whether they come on the first row, the second row, the third row, that qualifies you, and from that moment on, you are paid on the entirety of the matrix. You are qualified to get everything as long as you have your 3. And then what we want you to do is help them pay it forward by bringing their 3. Let's go to the next screen, by the way. So when you took a look at this, level 1, 35, it brings down $105. They take $50 to activate you to the next level. 10% or $10.50 goes into the escrow fund. $19.50 goes to the admin platform fee, leaving your donation of $25. That's exciting. Go to the next level. You are now qualified to receive donations from the next level. If we can click on that, we'll take a look at that. You paid the $50, so $450 will come in from a total of 9 people sowing $50 in each. Before you get anything, what happens is they're going to remove 10% from each one of those donations. 10% is going to come from each donation, go into the charitable giving fund. Also, $100 is going to be taken out as it comes in to activate you for the third level activation fee. You might want to change that from second level to third level. You can edit that out on the recording. Also, $23 goes to the admin fee, leaving you with $292. So now you're qualified because you've paid in the $100 to be activated for the third level. Watch what happens on the third level. It gets very, very exciting. We take a look at that third level, 27 people. By the way, if you brought in 3, they could have ended up on your first level, second level, or third level, and only brought in 3, and you paid your $35, it doesn't matter who these other people were brought in by. Those 27 people, you might not know them. They might be in Africa, Australia, or Malaysia. Really doesn't matter. You're going to receive the benefit of it. And what takes place is the first $700 will go to the activation to level 4. Level 4 activation. Also, there's going to be, taken out of it, there's going to be 10% taken out for the charitable giving. And then there's going to be an admin fee taken out. Also, you're going to be left with $1,710, just south of $2,000. Now, I'm going to tell you, you put $35 in. That's all you've put in. You brought 3 people to the table. You're helping them. You just generated nearly $2,000. It is about $2,000 with the other donations. And now you're qualified on level 4. Let's go to level 4. Level 4, 81 people are going to put in $700 on that level. Where did that money come from? They grew from level 1, 2, and are on 3. And when they're on level 3, their first money's come in, 700 comes out, activates them for level 4. And it goes up to the next level. Stay on the other screen, please. It goes up to the next level. Now, what happens is, out of that, you're going to have your activation fee come out for the next level, which is level 5. That's $5,000. But, folks, let me ask you a question. That seems like a lot of money, right? You want to make a lot of money? We got to move a lot of money. But would you be upset if we were going to give you, out of $56,000 come in, we're going to give you $45,000, but we used $5,000 before that out of the $56,000 to step you up? I don't think so. You put $35 in, you now have $45,000. Remember, a big donation of $5,000 goes into the charitable giving fund, and in your hand, you've got $45,000. Now, watch, you're already funded to the next level for $5,000. So now on level 5, let's show you what happens. 243 people from all over the world are now growing and sowing and receiving. On that level, they are going to end up, as they activate up for their level 5 earnings, $5,000 each out of what? Out of their $50,000. They're not going to be upset. That $5,000 goes to you. You're the target. $5,000 goes in, times 248 people, it's $1.2 million. But by the time they take out the charitable giving, and by the way, think about this for just a moment. That is a huge, huge chunk that goes into our charitable giving. That's how we're going to give $1 billion away. But when all is said and done here, let's keep it simple. You've generated $1 million. And I've got to tell you something. Very, very, very excited to be a part of this with you and a part of that with other people. And Ash Sahib is driven by the vision in the memory of his son to give $1 billion, and we're going to put together, all of us. All of us will have a participation in helping these causes, whether it's disabled veterans that can't get a job, moms that have little kids that are homeless living in a car. Maybe you know someone that's been stricken with a malady of cancer or Alzheimer's or some terrible disease, and they need help, and they don't have health insurance. I go down the list of people that are struggling. They're about getting ready to get thrown out of their home. The bank's going to foreclose. We can help them. There are countries around the world that don't have water suitable for drinking. If you drink it, it'll kill you. We could drill wells. We can help people. I love the idea that we are helping people change lives, and in the process, you can become very, very wealthy. If you're with a ministry, imagine your people and your body giving $35 each into the program and starting to share this with people in and out of your fellowship. It is exciting to realize what can happen. So, folks, my name is Coach Blaine Williams. I'm excited to be a part of this for my family and our future. Bobby Hornbrook and JP, I've got to tell you, these are visionary men. They've got an organization that's growing now globally, and they want to invite you to get off of this call, get together with whoever got you here, and get going. $35, the cost of a cheap steak. Get a dream going. Start talking to people. And with that, I'll turn this right back over to you, fellas.
All right. Guys, you heard it from the master, Mr. Coach Williams, Coach Blaine Williams. What an awesome presentation. I'm just elated at where we're at in this time of our lives, being able and the opportunity to raise $1 billion to help the needy around this world. We don't have to depend on the government. We don't have to depend on anybody but our heart and our labors. For a $35 donation, we can change the lives of many, many people. I'm going to turn this thing over. JP, if you want to stop the recording or leave it on, it doesn't matter to me. It's up to you. I want to say this, give an accolade. My friend and partner, JP Smith, I asked him yesterday to build this. And guys, he's been putting, as you know, he's been putting all kinds of people in the data, or not the database, but lining up our legs and working tenaciously. And he put this thing together and had it ready for us today. And what an awesome presentation. I am just so glad. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start tomorrow at 11 a.m. every hour on the hour. We're going to be showing this presentation. We're at 11 o'clock sharp. The lines will be muted. There'll be no chitter-chatter. And we'll start the presentation. When it's over, we'll close it up. We're not going to be able to take a lot of questions because we're going to start it again at 12 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. We're just not going to interfere with any of the corporate calls. So with that, I'm just, JP, this is the tool I've needed, and we'll be able to share this with people. God bless you, my friend, for making this outstanding presentation. Coach, you're in the zone as you always are because it's in your heart. You don't have to look at a script. This is the first time Coach has ever seen this presentation, guys. He wasn't looking at a script. He was looking at the presentation and talking to us out of his heart. I know his head might be a little hard because he's a coach, but he's got a heart that's so soft and tender and a heart of gold. And, that's respectfully kidding. I hope he takes it that way when he sees me. But I'm going to turn it over to my good friend and partner, Mr. J.P. Smith. J.P., it's all yours, my friend.